Hey, welcome to Talk Geeklys' first ever Who is video episode for YouTube. I am Penndragon here, of course, your resident Kryptonian, and I am super excited to be bringing you this new content. So we're going to start off with who is Carnage? Obviously, the easiest answer to that question would be Cletus Cassidy. But where did he come from? What shaped and molded one of the most psychotic villains in all of Marvel's history? Cletus Cassidy was born from the pairing of David Michelinie and artist Erik Larsen on the pages of The Amazing Spider-Man 344 in March of 1991. At the time, David had intended for Cletus Cassidy to take over the Venom symbiote after the untimely death of Eddie Brock, but with the increasing popularity of the character Venom, Marvel thought it was time to maybe introduce another character. Thus, Carnage was born. Now, the actual canonical birth of Cletus Cassidy took place at the Ravencroft Institute for the Criminally Insane. Cassidy would not have made it into this world had it not been for the intervention of a symbiote of great power. Null would bring Carnage back to life after his heart stopped, only to make sure that Cassidy would be the one to free him from his Clintar prison. The character's early childhood was filled with both blood and misery. Cletus killed his grandmother and also attempted to kill his birth mother. This eventually led him to the St. Estes Home for Boys. At St. Estes, Cassidy continued to grow his sadistic behavior. Not only did he murder a disciplinarian administrator, he also pushed a girl who laughed at him in front of a moving bus, and eventually burnt down the orphanage. Now, it was at the Estes Home for Boys that Cletus realized laws are only words, and came to see that the spreading of chaos through random, unpatterned bloodshed would bring his victims the ultimate freedom. And there, he decided he would be the one to free people from their mortal coil. During adulthood, the serial killer Cletus Cassidy shared a cell with the supervillain Eddie Brock, known to the world as Venom. After some time, the symbiote returned to bond with Eddie Brock, allowing him to escape prison, but it left behind its offspring in its cell. Venom's offspring soon bonded with Cletus Cassidy through a cut in Cassidy's hand, which caused the red coloration and helped to form a bond much stronger than that of Brock and Venom. The resulting symbiosis not only much more powerful, but it was clearly much deadlier. After escaping prison, Cassidy goes on a murderous rampage, leaving behind the name Carnage written in his own blood as a hint of things to come. This killing spree leads to the hero Spider-Man and his arch-nemesis Venom working together to stop Cassidy. After being subdued by the unlikely duo, Cassidy is held at the Ravencroft Asylum, where it is believed that he is powerless since the symbiote was destroyed during his capture. However, the symbiote had mutated Cassidy's blood prior to being destroyed, thus allowing Cassidy to create another copy of the symbiote and break out from Ravencroft. This eventually leads readers to Maximum Carnage. Maximum Carnage was published in 1993, and it did show Cletus Cassidy recruiting a slew of Spider-Man villains to go out and create chaos. But keep in mind, Carnage being the psychotic killer that he is, he does eventually turn on his allies and is left to complete his mission all on his own. Heroes like Captain America, Iron Fist, Black Cat, and Firestar all join in the fight to stop Cletus, but after faking his death, Carnage catches Venom off guard. The previous fight with the heroes left Carnage somewhat disoriented and unable to finish the job, which eventually Venom overpowers him, leaving him knocked out senseless and left to be incarcerated once again. Now, the Carnage symbiote has gone on to inhabit many other hosts throughout the Marvel landscape, and one host that comes to mind would be Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, who at the time was donning the mantle of Spider-Man. Reilly bonded with the Carnage symbiote to stop it from hurting innocent people, thus was born Spider-Carnage. Now, Ben Reilly was able to stop the symbiote from going on another rampage because of his strong willpower, and that allowed him to return to Ravencroft Asylum. After putting himself through potentially lethal blasts of microwaves, the symbiote did eventually escape back to Cassidy and reform the bond that made them so lethal. Another notable host was the Green Goblin, eventually going on to become the Red Goblin. After fights with both Silver Surfer and even Marvel's Sentry, we've reached a point where Cletus Cassidy is dead. But of course, in comics, not all characters stay dead, and eventually Cletus returns from space, badly injured and left for dead, but the Cult of Null does resurrect our sadistic, bloodlusting psychopath by bonding him with the Grendel symbiote from the Maker's laboratory. Now, it is at this point that Cletus decides he will help Null escape imprisonment by bonding with the codices, which are trace parts of symbiote DNA left behind in previous wielders of the symbiote power. Right now, the Marvel Universe faces absolute carnage. The villain is bent on removing the spines of all those who have ever bonded with a symbiote in the past, and that's going to help him bring back the king of symbiotes, Null himself. Now we sit back with bated breath and wait and see. What will the symbiote known as Carnage have in store for the heroes, villains, and unknowing citizens of the Marvel Universe?